From 2020 to 2025, sir, the PPP added a debt burden of $5.9 million to every household in Guyana. $5.9 million is not a small amount to the struggling families who are barely surviving paycheck to paycheck, sir. $5.9 million should have been used to take people from below the poverty line and providing them with a decent standard of living, sir. But instead, the increase in debt is being used to further enrich the wealthy while leaving the poor to help pay that bill. While 57% of Guyana's population can't afford anything beyond their most basic essentials of life, this heartless government has decided to saddle those very people struggling to survive in the indignities of poverty in this country, with 5.9 million debt per household, sir, while giving them none of the benefit that this mountain of debt is being allotted for, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Dr. Ashley Singh stood in this House last Friday and presented a comparison of debt to GDP using non-oil GDP during the coalition's administration and comparing that to oil-included GDP under the current administration, sir. How disingenuous of Dr. Ashley Singh, Honorable Member. Mr. Speaker, examining non-oil GDP is crucial for any prudent economic management because it provides a more accurate picture of the country's economic diversification and long-term sustainability, especially for oil-rich nations like Guyana, sir, as it excludes the volatile fluctuations in oil prices, which can significantly skew the overall GDP figures, giving a false impression of economic health when heavily relying on oil-related activities. Essentially, sir, it indicates the strength of the economy beyond the oil sector and highlights the development of other industries, signifying a more resilient economic base. Sir, this is the comparison that Guyanese are looking for, and there's no economist out there that's worth their salt that is going to stand and say it is okay to compare oil GDP with non-oil GDP. Nowhere. Mr. Speaker, from 2020 to 2024, the non-oil economy of Guyana grew 36% in total. In that same period, the stock of debt grew by a staggering 253%, sir. That is a 7% growth in debt for every 1% growth in the economy. These are the real numbers. To put this into context, in the period 2015 to 2019, sir, Guyana's GDP grew by 19%. The same period, total debt grew by a tiny 14%. For every 1% growth in GDP, the coalition increased debt by 0.7%, not even a full percent, sir. This is the reality of our economy.